Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Belichick's Bitches podcast, the number one podcast in the world using some sort of metric, using the best source, the only source. Do trust me. I'm your host, Brennan, and along with me, as always, is my co-host, Tyler.
Yes, back-to-back weeks with some amazing parts. I don't know what you call it, sections. We're doing mock off-seasons today.
Yes, sir.
We each kind of went through our own favorite teams, New England and Denver, and we kind of did what we expect to happen. Now, of course, this will probably only be like 25% right, but you know what? We can dream. I've got a few hopeful decisions in here. One's gonna hurt, but it's gonna keep going. But first, before we jump into that, we're gonna just kind of go over what's going on.
We got to do the boring stuff.
Kind of gone on. Words, yeah, the boring stuff. But just some overall. So I don't know if you saw this today, but it was on the Pat McAfee show, and it was a tweet. And apparently, a couple head coaches think there's going to be a lot of cap casualty cuts coming this week.
Oh yeah, well, we're already seeing a few of them.
You're going to see a good amount. There's going to be some big names moving. We've already seen a couple. Kyle Rudolph, Kyle Van Noy, Henry Anderson.
Who is 1 year into what, a 5-year contract? Kyle Van Noy, right?
Yep. 4-year contract, I think.
4.
And he was their. You could argue he was their best, both edge rusher and cover backer.
I would accept that. Yeah.
I mean, he's not the best coverage backer, but trust me, Miami did not. Baker and Millen, they really weren't the best. So Raekwon Millen's not Raiders. Never mind, ignore that. But so cutting Van Noy really made no sense. He was a leader in the locker room. He was a team captain.
They save almost $10 million. That's really about it.
And even the $10 million, I mean, yeah, but Dolphins have a lot of cap room. They don't have a lot of players hitting free agency this year. So it didn't make a lot of sense to me why they all of a sudden just decided to cut Van Noy. I guess they think Andrew Van Ginkel, who's currently the backup, is the same value. I don't see
What a name.
But I know what a dude. I just don't see that.
That was a great linebacker room in terms of names. You got Kyle Van Noy and Andrew Van Ginkel.
Yeah, that just, I don't know. That was a weird decision. That happened yesterday, I think.
Yesterday or the day before, yeah.
Some people were linking him to a New England return. I don't see it. I think he's going to be a little bit out of New England's price range. Just a tad bit. But I'd like it.
Quick news real quick that I just got on my phone. What? Amazon in talks with the NFL to carry Thursday night football games exclusively on Prime Video.
Ew. God, that would be one way to completely kill Thursday night off.
As this it already hasn't been dying.
Jesus. I mean, I never got Thursday night football. I love football. I'm a huge nerd for it. But I never understood Thursday night football. I never felt like I couldn't go through a whole week without football. I would personally rather have 2 Monday night games. Okay, well, Brendan's out of the thing for a second. He's going to go get some water. But I never understood it. So, so Thursday night football probably won't last much longer, especially with a prime deal. That's so stupid. That is dumb. Moving on from that. Eagles cut Deshaun Jackson and most likely will either trade or cut Alshon Jeffrey. Not really any big surprises there. Neither were the biggest contributors, and the Eagles are in cap purgatory, so the Eagles need all the cap room they can get, and they need wide receiver help too. So poor Eagles. And Deshaun Jackson probably will get some good some interest out there on the open market. So
yeah, he probably would. Sleeper team, maybe the Chiefs, because that linked to Andy Reid.
Yeah, but I think the Chiefs would rather focus on developing Mecole Hardman and
they better
his role.
That's my boy. That's my Georgia boy.
Mecole doesn't get as much love mainly because he's the third or fourth receiver on Kansas City. So I don't know. I feel like a team that would make the most sense for Deshaun is a team like Miami. Have an abundance of cap. That
True.
just makes sense for me. But then again, who knows? They like to cut their players a year into contract, so who knows?
Maybe the Lions.
Yeah. The Lions need all the receiver help they can get.
Yeah.
They signed Tyrell Williams, who actually got cut a couple days ago. The Detroit Lions signed him to a 1-year, $6 million deal. Tyrell is a solid number 2 when he's healthy. He's just not healthy that often.
Yeah.
You know, I think he had 1,000 yards 1 year.
Yeah, 1 year.
Ago in LA. Pretty decent receiver. So this is gonna play off of it. Steven Sims. Now, he has been correct on a good amount of quarterbacks. He was right on Herbert. He was right on a couple years before. He was not high on Josh Rosen.
Oh, did you see the 2018 rankings he had? At the time before the draft, he had Lamar 1, Allen 2, Baker 3, Darnold 4, Rosen 5.
Probably Rosen. It's probably Rosen.
What?
Was it Rosen at number 5?
Yeah, I said Rosen 5.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean, so he's been right before, but he released his top 5 today, and yeah.
Oh wow.
Bad. Yeah, it got it trending.
I mean, I could agree with the top 2.
Yeah, the top 2 you have an argument for. Zach Wilson 1, Trevor Lawrence. You have that argument. You know that you can make that. I don't know if I would do that, but you have that argument. Quarterback 3 was Mac Jones. Again, I don't agree. But a lot more people are high on Mac Jones. He's getting that, you know, he won the
the Natty.
He won the Natty. So you're going to get the hype. The quarterback 4, the consensus quarterbacks 1 through 4 is Lawrence, Wilson, Fields, Lance.
And you can put them in any order, and I'll basically agree with you because they're all just that good. They can all easily be number 1 picks in any draft class.
But then he decides to put Kellen Mond at quarterback 4.
Yeah.
Now, I've scouted Kellen Mond. I looked at, I think, 5 or 6 games of his tape. And I can safely say he is not a first-round pick. I can safely say he is not a second-round pick. I can pretty much assure you he's not a third-round pick.
See, I really like Kellen Mond as a sleeper quarterback, as top 4 quarterback in this class. No, absolutely not.
No. No. See, the issue is I don't understand what people see in Kellen Mond. There's a few people that really love Kellen Mond, and I'll admit his arm is great. Got some plus mobility. But when you dive into the stats, yeah, they look nice, except I think it was his previous season. He ran for like 1,100 yards or some insane number. His last year, his senior year, he ran for like 200. He just wouldn't run this year. It was in big games. He doesn't run. He literally just stands in the pocket and throws the ball, and he becomes one-dimensional. A lot of issues that he needs to fix that. I don't see the quarterback 4.
He has a lot of mechanics issues as well.
The highest I could see anyone drafting him is maybe.
I'd take a shot in the 4th.
Yeah, late 3rd would mean you are absolutely sold that he is a quarterback you can use in 2023.
I mean, Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. I don't see any issue with Kellen Mond being a 4th-round pick. He's more toolsy than Dak was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 4th-round pick, even that I think might be a slight overdraft. It's pretty worrying. I think he'll end up being like a 5th. Insane. That was just stupid. But going into that, Mac Jones, a lot of people are starting to connect him to Carolina, New England. Please don't. A lot of yeah. So we'll see where he goes. Apparently Carolina's a premier fit. Carolina has a lot bigger issues than a Mac Jones thing will solve.
No, go ahead. Carolina, please take Mac Jones.
Is Mac Jones really an upgrade over Teddy Bridgewater?
Yes.
Is he though?
Yes, just so they take him.
Is he though?
Just so they take him, yes. And another quarterback can slide.
And then the last thing about Mac Jones we need to talk about. So
this is just Mac Jones slander at this point.
Yeah. This is actually good for Mac Jones. A lot of former receivers that have played with both him and Tua, Waddle, Smith, Devontae, they've all kind of said they prefer to play with Mac Jones. Now, that's pretty interesting.
I mean, I could see it. Mac
one of the
Jones
only
is a
things
righty.
that's
He's
what
more
I was about to say.
accurate.
That's what makes the most sense. Is he's a righty. Spyro is what they're used to, what they've been catching since they were 5 years old. Compared to a lefty, and I've heard a lefty is really hard to catch from. The Spyro is completely different. The way the ball hits when it hits your hand is completely different. You got to change your routes, all that stuff.
I also say Mac Jones is more accurate.
Yeah, that is. So that's interesting to hear.
And also, I think it was Waddle. Waddle was in the same recruiting class as Mac Jones, and they both started off on the third team together. So they kind of made their way up the depth chart together. So that's probably why Jalen Waddle. That's probably a big reason why Jalen Waddle led Mac Jones.
Yeah. So I mean, that's just something that people are really shocked by that, and I'm not shocked by it. It's just it makes sense.
I wasn't that high on Tua when he was coming out. I'm higher on Tua coming out than Mac Jones coming out for sure. But
yeah, I don't know. Mac Jones, I feel like he's good, man, but people are really overhyping him.
Yeah.
My mic is flickering red a lot. I don't like that.
You sound fine.
Yeah, it's like cutting like red every now and again.
Strange.
Cam Newton wants to would welcome a return to New England. I mean, that's not shocking. I doubt his market is very plentiful.
No, I doubt it. Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely backup worthy. I don't think he's starting worthy at all, personally. I think he could maybe fight for an off-season spot. I think he could push a rookie quarterback. Hint, hint. Wink, wink. But I don't think that'll be a no.
We'll
I
talk
don't
about that.
think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen in New England. Spoiler for my mock offseason, I don't have him returning. It could always happen. He helped pull that locker room together, so it's definitely something that's possible. But I don't see it. Jerry Jeudy. What?
Yeah, there's a play against the Panthers this past season. Jerry Jeudy was literally quintuple covered. 5 defenders were covering Jerry Jeudy on a single play.
That's insane.
I don't know if it's planned to play like that or the Panthers' defense is just that bad, but yeah, he was quintuple covered.
That's pretty bad. Jesus. And then this happened a few weeks. This is kind of old news, but it's something to talk about. Michael Pittman said he's not going to give up number 11 to Wentz. I guarantee you Wentz will just slip him a dollar bill and that'll happen.
Yeah.
They normally say that for like competition reasons to get somebody fired up. I think it's cool. But
AJ Brown tweeted about it, which is, of course, deleted like soon after he tweeted it. And in response, he said, "Lol, he is not about to get the ball. Gotta know who in control. Gotta know who in control, bro. Lamau."
Yeah, no, that's just I mean, it'll be interesting. I doubt that'll happen, and it's fun to see. You got to earn your number, and I'm sure Wentz will earn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be cool to see Wentz in a different number though. Like having him wear like number 1, that'd be kind of cool.
That'd be weird. That's it's Pat McAfee jersey.
I know, but like, and Pat McAfee can say, "Yeah, I'll give you number 1." Pat McAfee gets a little bit of credit. Win-win.
I mean, I don't think that number's retired for Pat McAfee. I don't think it's retired at all.
I don't know if anyone's ever used it.
It's McAfee? I don't think so.
I doubt anyone's used it, but that wasn't in like a preseason game. Doubt anyone's ever used it.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
So that was so now we're gonna get to the mocks.
Fun part.
So fun part. So we're gonna go over this kind of
section by section.
Go by section. So the first section will be cuts. Cuts. I guess we'll start with cuts.
Yeah.
So I'll let you start off on cuts.
Okay. So cuts. I hear the dog whining from downstairs, and it's very annoying. I'm sorry if that picks up on the mic.
It's not.
Jeff Driscoll, quarterback, easy cut. Same with Nick Van at the tight end. Both are due very little and guaranteed money. Both contributed very little this past season and were disappointing. They both need to be cut. And also, maybe a surprise one. This is projecting that his guarantees get voided due to that DUI. Melvin Gordon. Cutting Melvin Gordon.
Mhm.
That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I only have one cut because New England has so much cap that I highly doubt they'll make many cuts to save cap. So the only cut that I really see happening is Adrian Phillips. He played a pretty significant role as our main linebacker because our linebackers were terrible last season and he wasn't very good. But he played a lot. We have so much depth at safety and corner and linebacker now, especially with my draft. Wink. So I really don't see him staying past preseason. And that's if he gets to preseason, I'll be shocked. So that's really the only cut I have. So, did you guys have any opt-outs?
No, we did not.
COVID?
No, we had Juwan James. That was
Okay.
pretty much it.
Okay, I'm gonna run over the main people we're getting back from opt-outs: Dante Hightower, Marcus Cannon, Patrick Chung, and Brandon Bolden, and Dan Vitale, who's most likely going to retire or get cut. I'm really excited about Hightower coming back. We need a linebacker bad, man. And
I know that feeling.
Marcus Cannon coming back is, I think, the key in this, because if he can come back and play at right tackle for this year, it gives us a lot of flexibility with what to do with Joe Tooney and what to do with David Andrews, who both are hitting the market. And it's going to be interesting because Michael Onwenu can play guard. Marcus Cannon could even play guard. And we could move Shaq Mason to left guard. A lot of things that can happen. So it'll be interesting to see what we do with that. But Marcus Cannon coming back from COVID is huge. So, restructures. But let's do restructures.
Oh, restructures? Okay.
Yep.
Me
AJ,
first? Or you
stop
first?
I had to tell my dog to do something. I'll
we
go
all heard
first. I
that.
only have one.
Okay, I have two.
Oh, you heard? You heard?
Oh, yeah. I heard Mickey, stop
sorry.
it.
He's biting his nails. It's annoying. Devin McCourty. Pretty big cap hit. $11 million right now.
That's chump
Yeah,
change.
he's gonna get to New England. He's most likely gonna get cut or not restructured. Sorry, cut. Most likely gonna get restructured to help save us just a little bit more money. But yeah, he's taken pay cuts before.
All right.
So
did you have an idea for the contract restructure, like what it would look like?
Contract restructure? It'll probably be pushing most of that to signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
That's what New England loves to do. So I imagine we'll push $7 million of that into a future type deal and give him $4 million up front.
Okay.
It's most like that's usually what New England does.
All right. So, my first, this isn't really a restructure. It's a contract extension.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to extend Cortland Sutton. So he'll get this upcoming year, and then the year after that, the contract extension goes into play. A 4-year deal, $72 million, which is 18 APY, with $39.6 million guaranteed. So that's about 55%. It's top 10 in per year and top 5 in total guaranteed money for a wide receiver.
Ooh.
Which I think is a good move because we have a ton of cap next year, and also, we have a ton of cap next year, and also wide receiver contracts are only going to get more expensive, and if the APY is only 18 a year, that's about, I think it's 4th, I want to say, and I think like the top is like 20 right as of right now.
The only issue I have with that contract is that it's pretty hefty for a receiver that's had one elite season of production and the rest have been, So
he's had his rookie year. He wasn't the starter. Then he finally got a start and started showing potential. Last year was his first full year as the wide receiver 1, and then this past year he got like a few plays and then tore his ACL. So
yeah, so it's like, that would be interesting. That would be an interesting contract for them to give out, though.
So yeah, he would rack up if it's 18 mil APY. He'd be tied in APY with Tyreek Hill and Odell Beckham, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, tied for 7th.
Interesting. What other restructures or slash extensions?
I am extending. Well, I have two different ones. Just one change in between. Well, one change that makes other changes. Von Miller. This is going to be the Von Miller extension. A 2-year extension. With a contract restructure for this year because he's due like $22 million this year. So that'll probably be converted more into guaranteed money. So it'll be a 2-year deal plus this upcoming year, so a 3-year deal, $30 million, which is 10 APY, and $21 million guaranteed, which is about 70% of the contract completely guaranteed, and a $10 million signing bonus.
I see.
And that would be free up about $5 million in cap space.
All right. And you have another scenario, right?
Yes, but I can do that afterwards because it'll be confusing to do both scenarios at the same time.
Yeah. All right. So next, I did notable free agents leaving. Just guys that I don't think we're going to re-sign. One is because of cap reasons. Joe Thuney. We tagged him last season. I don't think we'll be tagging him again. I do think it's going to be we let him walk in free agency for a 3rd-round pick in return. He's going to be asking for top offensive guard money, and rightfully so. He's one of the best offensive linemen in the league. He has every right to be asking for it. One of the most consistent linemen that's been playing. He's only missed a handful of games. Insane guy. I just don't see New England paying the big bucks, especially since we're paying Shaq Mason so much money at right guard.
Mm-hmm.
It just don't make sense. I think he will be cut. He'll go in free agency. He'll make some great money, and we'll be getting a 3rd-round pick for it. I'm not mad about that at all. It is going to suck, though, because Thuney has just been a rock ever since he's played. A few other notable players, starters from last season leaving. John Simon, one of the worst players in the league last year. He sucked. He didn't stop the run. He didn't rush the passer. He didn't tackle well. He didn't do anything well. And he was getting Josh Uche and Anfree Jennings were getting playing time over him. Not very good. Cam Newton, as I said earlier, it is very possible he could return. But I have a free agent signing that I think is more attractive to New England. I'm going to hold off on that, but we'll go into that later. And then finally, Damiere Byrd. He's going to probably go, I don't know, maybe wherever New England goes. He's a speed threat. He's just not very good at route running. He runs 3 routes. He runs a curl, post, or streak. That's it. That's all he runs. He don't even run slants. He's go Michael Thomas. It sucks. So those will be the main guys. There's a few other free agents that, I mean, you can go over them in 2021. Like James White could return. Do I have him returning? I do have him returning. James White, Jermaine Eleanor, who saw a good amount of playing time at right tackle, he could come back. Nick Folk had a pretty good year as a kicker, could come back. And those are the main guys I think won't be returning.
All right.
Yeah. And Rex Burkhead. I'm sorry, Rex, but we have so many running backs.
This is true.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so mine, obviously Gerald Casey and AJ Boye were already cut.
Yep.
We don't have any. I don't have any big names I'm letting walk, so I'm just gonna run through them really quick. Elijah Wilkinson, swing tackle, plays at guard as well. Jeremiah Tauchu, edge rusher. Will Parks, safety. Blake Bortles. Jake Butt, Troy Fumagalli, and that's it.
Okay.
Those are the guys I'm letting walk that are notable.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Restricted free. Do y'all have any restricted free agents?
Yes, we do. We have quite a few.
Okay. I'll let you go first. And then
All right. So the restricted free agents, we have. I we might have more than 5, but these are the 5 I'm keeping. Philip Lindsay, running back, middle linebacker A.J. Johnson, and wide receiver Tim Patrick, all getting second round tenders. That's pretty much a guarantee, or should be at least. And then we have 2 exclusive rights free agent tenders. No, I'm sorry, 3 of them. I'm giving those to wide receiver, but more accurately, kick and punt returner Deontay Spencer, swing tackle Calvin Anderson, and safety Trey Marshall.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. Restricted free agents. New England's, the guys that are leaving aren't very impactful. It's a lot of just role players, but there's 2 important restricted free agents I think New England needs to sign. J.C. Jackson. First, give him this man a first round tender.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let some team walk away with him for a second round pick.
Come on.
Don't do that. He's
give him the second round tender.
By the way, you heard it here on the Belichick's Bitches podcast first, though. That top 10 corner last year before the season. You heard it here first.
Come on, give him the second round.
I think we do re-sign him. And I think the contract he would sign with New England would be a 5-year, $65 million deal with 40 guaranteed. A lot of guarantees, but I feel like it would be a backloaded contract, and I feel like it'd be something we could easily restructure. And I feel like him and Gilmore only have 1 more year together. So really need to make it count. Gilmore is a trade a possibility. I don't know what that trade would look like. It would have to be a first-round pick in order to really get the value, and I just don't see a team that would be willing to give up first-round pick.
Yeah.
With this draft.
I'd see at most maybe a mid-late second.
Even then, you're losing so much value. He's a defensive player of the year. I would rather him play out his contract and possibly lose him for a third than to just trade him for a second. You're not getting the value there. The second restricted free agent, Jacob Johnson, the fullback, great fullback. Didn't play much. I think he got injured, but huge for our run game. He's literally just like James Devlin. So I think he resigns 2-year, $2 million deal. Probably some workout bonuses, get him some, $500,000 guaranteed somewhere. Just a 2-year, get him on the team. But those are my only 2 restricted free agents. I don't really have us using any of the tenders or franchise tags because I don't think anyone that we have it is worth it.
All right.
I just don't see it. I don't see it here. I mean, maybe on a guy like David Andrews if he doesn't get a contract, but I have him signing a contract here in just a second. But he's the only one that I think would be worth a tender. Beside that, I don't see it.
How'd you go about in valuing your contracts? Like how much you decided to give?
I went a little bit over the expected because that's what you kind of have to do. When you're re-signing, you kind of have to match the market. A couple guys I have taking some discounts. But overall, I have them overpaying on a few guys on our returning free agents.
Yeah. I did. I looked at Over the Cap's valuation for their APY, and I pretty much rounded that up or overbid it.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I did, except for on a few players that are aging, and their APY is probably going to go down.
Yeah.
But overall, so let's go over your returning free agents.
All right. Obviously,
your new contract.
Obviously, Justin Simmons.
Yep.
3-year deal, $46.5 million, 15.5 APY, which would make him the highest paid safety APY, and that'd be 18.6 million guaranteed, which is about 40%. It would make him the highest paid safety in the NFL. I believe also in terms of total guarantees, that would make him in the top 10. But in terms of overall percentage of the contract, it put him near the top as well.
I like that. I guess I'll go with my first big free agent. And this is the big money for New England. This is where they spend most of their money in this free agency. David Andrews. If we're letting Joe Tooney go, we have to re-sign David Andrews. It's just a rule. Andrews had that one season where he had to take it off because of blood clots. But overall, still been a really solid center for us. I think he signs a pretty, I wouldn't say revolutionary, but an uncommon contract. Fully guaranteed money. It's going to be a little bit less. It's going to be fully guaranteed. 3-year, 28, fully guaranteed. 9.3 a year. I think you give him maybe some roster bonuses to maybe bump that up to 30. But I think that's about $9.9 million a year. He's a pretty top of the line center. You sign him for that top of the line money. He'll be 31 by the time his contract ends, give or take, and that'll be give him time to re-sign one more time, and maybe he'll end his career as a Patriot. Fingers crossed.
$9 million for a center would currently match Matt Paradis, Connor McGovern, and Alex Mack's contracts.
Yep. That's about where he is in terms of centers. So I think that's pretty fair. He's better than McGovern, though. That's for sure.
Yeah. That was the Jets, so you got to take it with a grain of salt.
But that is definitely the biggest. I think that's the biggest deal, except for one other player, and that's from outside. We'll talk about that in a minute.
All right.
So who's your next big returning free agent?
Shelby Harris, our interior defensive lineman, also known as the god of batting down passes at the line of scrimmage. I'm giving him a 2-year extension worth $12 million, so $6 million a year, with $6 million of that guaranteed, so 50%.
Okay, I like that. I'm going Jason McCourty next. His role has really diminished with J.C. Jackson being a top 10 corner now, and with Jonathan Jones being the slot guy. So he's more of a fourth corner, but he is pretty valuable in the fact that he can play safety. He's played safety for New England before. He's experimented with that. And with how our safety depth's a little questionable, and Juwan Williams coming up, he's most likely going to move to safety. So I have him signing a 1-year, $3 million deal, $1 million guaranteed. Again, 1 year, prove it you can play safety. That's kind of what he's on at this point of his career. He could be a candidate to be cut at roster cutdowns, just because of how he's not really needed at corner anymore. More of a safety, and even safety, we have Duggar, and in a draft pick, I'm just saying, the draft we got a good draft. So 1 year, $3 million deal. It's easy for New England just to wash $1 million in penalty away and to get away from it.
All right, makes sense.
And that is his APY on the dot. Actually, he's $3 million a year.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, so I have 2 more players I'm resigning, but neither of them are really big names, so I'm just going to go over them real quick.
I have 3, and neither of them are big names either,
okay.
So just go ahead.
So, resigning Devontae Bosby. We desperately lack corner depth. Giving him a 1-year, $990,000 contract with no guarantees. Just another prove-it contract. He got cut a few times throughout the season. I know he's not Fangio's favorite corner, but he's familiar with the scheme, familiar with the team, familiar with the defense, and with how much we're hurting that corner right now, it just makes sense to keep him there, even if we just cut him in preseason or training camp. Next would be DeMarcus Walker, former second-round pick, I think 2017. Hasn't really lived up to expectations. Last year, this past season in 2020 was by far, in a way, his best season. So I'm going to offer him a 1-year, $2 million deal with $500,000 guaranteed.
All right. I have 3, and they're pretty unspectacular. James White, who's a fan favorite after what happened with his father and mother earlier this year. Just great guy, locker room guy. I think he re-signs. We have so much running back depth. He's not going to have the role he once had anymore. But, 1 year, $5 million deal with 2 guarantees. Again, something that is possible to get out of quickly. I do think he'll be an attractive free agent for Green Bay if they let Aaron Jones go. So he definitely is going to have some outside, and I don't think he'll sign until late free agency, like maybe a month in. Lawrence Guy, he's
what a guy! Age. What a guy!
He kind of slowed down this year without the pass rush. 1 year, $2 million, no guarantees. It's just, again, prove it. And it's something New England can get out of easy. Last year is a pretty important one. Adam Butler. He's our main interior pass rusher. Our only one, actually. Deatrick Wise, no. And he's been the most consistent. I think he has like 8 or 9 sacks in 2 years or 3 years. I have him signing a 2-year, $11 million deal with 4 guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of an overpay, but I do think New England will overpay just for that little bit of stability that they like. And he's a very know your role, know your job type of guy. I know I hate saying corner stuff like that, but one of those type of guys for Belichick. So I think he re-signed on that deal. And that's all my returning free agent.
Actually, I just looked down, and for some reason I put this guy under my actual free agent signings. This guy's a re-sign. Right tackle DeMar Dotson, 1 year, $2 million deal, fully guaranteed contract. He was very, very serviceable. Probably our best right tackle this year while he was healthy. We don't know what's going on with Juwan James. Well, we do know that he'll be on the team because of his contract. That you can't get out of that. But yeah, we need tackle depth. DeMar Dotson would be perfect to come back for a fully guaranteed 1-year deal.
All right. Now, outside free agents. This is where I get a little wishful. A tad bit. Okay. We have a lot of cap room. And even after these deals, I think I was still at like $43 million in cap. I have a lot of cap. So I went a little crazy, but they make sense.
See, I only signed like 3 players in free agency.
I signed 5. It's gonna be interesting. I'm kind of excited to see this.
I would have gone after J.C. Jackson, but I knew that was kind of unrealistic, so I didn't. Yeah. Even though if he does hit the open market, well, not the open market, but if he does get like a second round tender, if the Broncos don't at least match that, I'm gonna be pissed.
All right. Well, I'll start it off since I have a little bit more. The first one, I'll go with least exciting to most. I think this guy, we went after him a couple years ago as when he was a free agent. Quarterback A.J. McCarron. Hasn't really, he's been Watson's backup. Watson's been pretty healthy. So you haven't really heard much about him. But he fits the scheme that New England wants to run, and he'd be a veteran presence for a rookie. Hint, hint, wink, wink.
Oh, God.
So I really like the addition of him. I think he's going to be on a 1-year, $5 million deal, 2 guaranteed. Hey, go out, see if he can win a bridge job. Who knows? Maybe he goes out there and he surprises us. He's shown he has some talent. So, hey, give him a shot. So, right. That's my first outside free agent.
My first outside free agent, I guess I'll do the same thing. Least exciting to most exciting. Quarterback Cam Newton. 2-year deal, $6 million, $1 million guaranteed.
Interesting.
Veteran backup quarterback that that's comfortable being a starter in a pinch, and a mentor to someone, wink wink, in a little bit that we'll talk about.
Oh dear God. My next one, Landon Roberts. He went to Miami on a 1-year deal. Former Patriot. I think he has a homecoming. 1 year, $3 million deal, 2 guaranteed. He knows the scheme. He knows the defense. He can even play fullback. A guy, and I think he just fits New England, and it just makes so much sense. It just makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. My next free agent is former Tennessee Titans linebacker Jayon Brown. Ooh. Underrated coverbacker that I think would be wise to take a shot on. 3-year deal worth $15 million with 6 guaranteed.
Ooh, that is a pretty cheap contract, but if you could get him on that, that'd be nice.
I mean, just looking at I was basing this off of the over the cap valuation and then overpaying that a little bit.
Yeah.
Let me see where he is.
I had an issue with some of the over the caps though. APY. They were a little at times. I mean, they valued a lot of weird players.
Right. Let's see. Valuation was at $4.2 million.
Interesting. This would be our first, not big free agency signing, but it's somebody we targeted last year. Adam Humphries. I'm not huge on Adam Humphries, and I'll be honest, I don't really want him to sign here, but the interest is there, and I think we're probably the club that would give him the most money. 2-year, $8 million deal, 3 guaranteed. Hey, man, go out there and prove you can play the slot receiver. Edelman, I love him. I think there's a chance for a trade. I'm not happy about that, but it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But I didn't do trades in this, and I think we're going to need a slot receiver, sadly.
That's fair.
But
yeah.
2-year, $8 million. Just please get N'Keal Harry off the field. Please, thank you.
So this is my last free agent signing, and it's a bigger one. I really wanted 2 of these guys, but I decided I'd only bid on one of them, just so I didn't end up signing 2 corners. I'm gonna go with. I was deciding between Chidobe Awuzie and Shaquille Griffin, and I ended up signing Shaquille Griffin, giving him a 3-year contract, $18 million total, with $7 million guaranteed.
That is a severe underpay.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, yeah, he's not the most polished corner, but yeah, he's worth a little bit more than that.
Okay, we could easily bump that up. We have the cap space.
I mean yeah, again, it's not that big a deal. I'm just saying. I was expecting you to say like 37, 38. Okay. That definitely is a good fit though. Y'all need as much cornerback help as you get. I have 2 more. Kyle Rudolph. He just got cut today. I added it today.
I sent you DMs like, do you have to change your mock off season now?
I already did. Kyle Rudolph, 2-year, $9.5 million deal, 6 guaranteed, front-loaded contract. Get out of it the second year if you need to. He's been a stud the last couple of years. He got beat up by Irv Smith. It's Irv Smith. I'm not even huge on Irv Smith. I didn't understand that. Great pass catcher, decent blocker. He would be tight end number 1 for us.
Yeah, easily.
And finally, this is the big boy. This is the big money, big change. Curtis Samuel. I really think Josh McDaniels with Curtis Samuel would be just a match made in heaven, man. Those 2 guys. Curtis Samuel is the ultimate chess piece. He can move him anywhere. He can play running back. He can play receiver. He can play in the slot. He can play outside. Anywhere. Love his talent. He's versatile. 4-year, $38 million deal. He's gonna attract a lot of suitors.
Oh yeah.
In free agency. At speed is money. So 4-year, 38. I think we give him a huge amount of guarantees. 27. I think it's backloaded. I don't think it's something we pay up front, but with how much cap New England has, there's no reason they shouldn't be doing this. If Curtis Samuel is willing to play for $8 million a year, you better go after it. It's just a huge. It's almost an underpay. I was gonna go more, but I didn't want to overpay. I think it's just a huge addition New England needs to make. I'll be disappointed if we don't at least make an offer.
Yeah, that'd be a good move.
So
you guys desperately need weapons on offense.
Oh yeah, trust me, we'll be good. Okay, mock draft. I'm sorry, we got to keep pushing. Yeah. This mock draft. I've been hyping up this mock draft. I promise you, it's not going to disappoint.
I really like mine as well.
This mock draft is the best one I've ever done for New
England. I got a BYU player that I can't
like
wait.
6 or 7. Oh Jesus! But legitimately, everyone I drafted has starting potential except for one guy. So
yeah, I could say the same about mine.
But he was available when he probably shouldn't have been. So I'm gonna draft him. Pick 15, Kwity Paye out of Michigan. Edge rusher, huge burst. New England. This would be their 3rd draft in a row drafting a Michigan edge rusher. You gotta hit eventually. Okay. He would be an immediate starter. Him, Winovich, and Uche would be a nice 3-headed, rotational. And if one can develop as the guy, the other 2 will be nice supporting guys. So I think it makes sense here at pick 15. We'll talk about quarterback in a minute. But pick 15, Quiddy Pay.
All right. That's a decent pick. I am
Pick
concerned about the...
40. Oh, good.
I'm concerned a little bit about that scheme fit because Belichick usually goes after hybrid guys.
Yeah, that is true. But I feel like a guy that like Quiddy Pay, who's shown that he has that explosiveness, I feel like he'll take a chance on a guy like Quiddy Pay. I think that's the key. If he wasn't so explosive, he probably wouldn't take that chance.
Fair enough.
Second round.
Who you got?
Pick 46. Dylan Moses.
Ooh.
Linebacker out of Alabama. Now, personally, scheme fit, it's a little iffy at first. You're thinking, a little hesitant. He's not a cover backer as well yet. But that
he's a
raw
good rusher.
speed is something... Exactly. That raw speed is something New England doesn't have in the linebacker room. So, somebody with that type of speed is going to eventually make his way into playing time. It's a little bit of a reach, probably, but I really like the fit in New England, and I feel like you could carve out a Dante Hightower type role in New England.
Fair.
So I have us picking him at pick 46.
All right. Second round pick 40. You know, we just signed, we signed Shaquille Griffin. We have Bryce Callahan, who knows how long he's going to stay healthy for. That's been an issue. We have Michael Ojemudia. We have Asang Bassi coming back from injury. And re-signed Devontae Bosby. But here we got to still address corner. It's still a weakness. I'm going with guy who is available. I don't expect him to be here, but I'd be absolutely running my card up to the stage, so to speak. That probably won't. There's not going to be a stage this year. FSU cornerback Asante Samuel Jr.
Oh boy, in the second, that would be amazing.
Just a very sticky man press corner. I think he'd do great in Denver. A true boundary corner, which Denver truly needs. He's a great fit.
That's for sure. I like that pick a lot. Asante Samuel was gone by my pick 46. I wouldn't have picked him anyway, but I still want him in New England just for the memes.
All right.
Who is your next pick?
Third round pick 71. I was deciding between two people. I really wanted a linebacker here. This is my spot for a linebacker in my mock drafts. And it's between two players. One of who is one of my draft crushes and was going to be a college player of the week, but we forgot to do it, and we still just haven't done it since. Kentucky linebacker Jamin Davis. This guy is extremely toolsy. He's got good height, weight, speed, length. He could use a little bit of development in his coverage game. I'll give him that, but this guy has too many tools that you just can't pass up on. He's just a fantastic linebacker, and he's been rising up draft boards for a reason. Mm-hmm. I almost went with LSU's Jabril Cox here just because of how great he is in coverage, but I felt like Jamin Davis, while worse in coverage than Jabril Cox, has a much higher ceiling as a linebacker.
All right. For me, we had the last pick in the third round, pick 96.
Maybe you shouldn't have spied on the Bengals.
You know what? Shut up. I went with Kyle Trask here. I think this would be more of a trade up, personally. I wasn't doing trades in this mock draft.
Yeah.
This would be a trade up into the early thirds. I don't think even Trask will be available this late. But if we're lucky, and this is just the way the simulation went, Kyle Trask, I think he could fight for a starting job. I think he could start year one depending on what you have around him and the scheme that you put him in. You never know. But this next pick, this is where the draft got good. The first three picks, they're all right. This is where it gets good. Pick 120, Anthony Schwartz.
Okay.
Wide receiver out of Auburn. Pure track speed. I don't know. I know people are concerned about his body catching and his blocking in the ball and his route run. I don't care. I do not care. He is fast and you are combining him with an offensive coordinator who, if there's one thing he knows how to do, it's get completely innovative on offense. So, yeah, even if you sign Curtis Samuel, imagine a set with Curtis Samuel and Anthony Schwartz in the backfield next to the quarterback as running backs. Just imagine that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of possibilities Schwartz and Samuel would give you, insane. He wouldn't be an every down player. He would be a kick returner. He would be more of a role player in year one, but that speed, even if he isn't very good and he doesn't turn out to be that great, it's worth a 4th-round pick in my eyes.
All right.
So I have Anthony Schwartz, pick 120.
So my 4th-round pick at pick 114. This guy was still available. He's one of my draft crushes yet again. Cornerback is still in need. USC's Elijah Griffin. We talked about him a little bit ago as one of my college players of the week. Has some injury concerns, but this dude has starting corner potential in the NFL, and I'm absolutely going to take him here.
Oh, yeah.
And then next pick, round 5, pick 153. I'm going with secondary yet again, but not corner this time. To back up Kareem Jackson for whenever he hangs up his cleats, since he's been on the older side. Texas safety Caden Stearns. This is a guy I really like as a depth safety. I think he has good potential. I see him as sort of like a Justin Simmons kind of guy, where you take him in the mid rounds, you sit him for a year, give him some rotational throughout his rookie year, and you just let him loose the next few years. I think this dude definitely has the ability to make that kind of jump. He's a great in coverage, especially single high, and he has the athletic ability to keep up with tight ends and wide receivers.
Interesting. I like that. For me, pick 139. I think that's 5th round. Trey Hill, offensive guard / center out of Georgia. I haven't really scouted him too much, to be honest.
UGA.
But I do know that Bill Belichick likes offensive linemen out of Georgia.
Georgia!
I know he's versatile. He can play both center and guard.
Hi, Skippy.
So with the predicted offensive line shuffle you're expected to see in New England, he's a perfect guy that could wrestle away Tooney's spot and keep Unwenu at right tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we do somehow let Andrews go, he's a guy that can fight for that starting center job. I'm all for it, and I think it's a great value pick in the 5th.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I don't think he'll be available this late. I don't know what the mock draft simulation was doing, but I wasn't going to complain. Marvin Wilson.
What?
3D lineman out of Florida State. He was available at pick 145. Don't ask me.
Okay, then.
Don't know why. I don't think it's going to happen.
That'd be fantastic value.
It would be amazing value. I'm all for it. He would immediately start on New England's defensive line. Not even a question. Not even a doubt. He would be a day one starter. Great push on the interior. You're getting a decent run stuffer. And you're getting a guy who's probably a late 1st-round talent in the 5th. It's not going to happen. But, hey, it's nice to dream.
Yeah. My next pick is round 6, pick 193. Another one of my college players of the week and draft crushes, Virginia Tech running back Khalil Herbert. With Philip Lindsay only on a restricted free agent tender, Melvin Gordon being cut, you still have Royce Freeman. You need more running backs. You'll probably get some camp bodies. One may work out, but I really like Virginia Tech's Khalil Herbert. As I've said before, his player comp for me is C.J. Anderson, and I love C.J. Khalil Herbert to do it all back, and he's a great value for me in the 6th round here.
That is great down value.
And then my next would be round 7, pick 231, Buffalo edge defender Malcolm Kuntz. He's been on my players to watch. I haven't really watched him too heavily, but he's athletic, he's big, taking the chance with a 7th-round pick, especially with how Von Miller's up in age. It's always nice to have more depth at edge.
Believe it or not, I still have 4 picks.
I have 2 more.
We have a lot of later round picks. I'm Nick Eubanks, tight end out of Michigan. Not the most flashiest pick here at 159. He's a depth pick. Probably my least favorite pick out of this draft, but he's a need, and especially if we don't get Rudolph, we need tight end depth. Ossie and Keen, I'm not seeing it. So Nick Eubanks at pick 159, you never know. And then immediately after, this is one of my favorite players to watch on tape. Israel Mukuamu.
He was still available. Okay.
Yeah, position.
How is he still available in the 7th?
I have no. Maybe I shouldn't use PFM anymore, but I'm not complaining. He's available at pick 197. Insane value pick. I think he'll go earlier.
I think he'll go on like the 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, me too. But here's the thing about Israel, is he's your poor man's
country.
Jeremy Chin. You know, he can play anywhere. He can play box safety. He can play slot corner. He could even dabble with outside, although I wouldn't do that. You could even dabble him at safety, free or strong. Wherever you need a body, he's going to be able to fill that position.
That's very high praise to me. Jeremy Chin comp is very high praise.
I'm all for it. His raw athletic ability jumps off the page at you. It's freaky. And he had that game against Georgia, I think, where he just dominated.
Hey, we don't need to talk about people dominating against Georgia. Let's not.
It was perfecto. I think he'd be a great fit in New England. Again, will he go that late? No. Is it nice to dream? Yes.
Quick shout out to Lucian Anderson. He says hello in the chat. Hello.
Hello.
We have a live viewer for like the first time in forever. Okay, so those are your 2 picks, right?
Yeah, and then I have 2 more.
All right, I'm going to do my 2, and I really got to go pee, so I'm going to go pee while you talk about your 2 picks. So round 7, pick 233. I'm going to go with offensive tackle, who could also be a potential swing tackle and just depth and development. Out of Marshall, Josh Ball. He's big, he's athletic, he lacks technique. We have the best offensive line coach in the league, and Mike Munchak. Perfect little development tackle here in the 7th round. Swing around in case someone gets hurt. And then round 7, pick 248. I told you I was taking a BYU player, and I did. Wide receiver, Dax Milne. This guy is a great jump ball receiver. He's a really underrated route runner. Just watching his tape, he had a really good connection with Zach Wilson. He made some really tough catches, and I was really impressed coming away. And I think he'd be a great get as a depth wide receiver here in the 7th round to compete with, say, Tyree Cleveland, Deshaun Hamilton in camp.
Nice. I'll just go over mine real quick.
I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick.
All right, go. At pick 199, I drafted Patty Fisher out of Northwestern, linebacker. He'd be just kind of a depth piece. Not really going to compete for a starting job, but hey, New England, depth is what we need. So I'm going Patty Fisher at pick 199. In the last pick 241 in the 7th, I went Jalen Camp out of Georgia Tech. He's an interesting prospect because A, he's not really a receiver. He's not really a tight end. He's kind of both. Didn't get many reps at Georgia Tech because the scheme and Jeff Collins is just not the best. Interesting talent. He's 6'5", 240, jump ball, and could easily develop as a tight end, I think, in the right scheme. Worst case scenario, he's a practice squad wide receiver. So that wraps up the mock off seasons for each of our teams. I think it was pretty good. Brennan had some pretty good. He's in the bathroom right now. Pretty good picks. I loved my draft. I thought it was great. Thank you to the live viewer again. We appreciate you guys, and have to keep stalling because he has to end the recording. Just popped into my mind. I'm sorry you have to hear this. This is all on Brennan. It's his fault. He's still
I'm back.
I realized I was going to end it. I was like, I can't end it without you. That's tough.
Yeah.
So that's it for the mock drafts.
No, I got my second way of trading Vaughn.
Oh yeah.
So the first,
I'll tell you my last two picks since you were gone.
Okay.
Patty Fisher, and I bet you don't know who this guy is. Jalen Camp.
No, I don't know who that is.
Out of Georgia Tech. Like
That's why.
5', 240. He's literally just going to be a project tight end that could definitely fit. but
All right.
that's about it.
Yeah, so my first offseason was keeping Von Miller. This one, I don't think we're gonna cut him. It'd be dumb if we just straight up cut him. It wouldn't make any sense whatsoever. So this one, I asked my Cowboys friend, my friend who's a Cowboys fan, what he'd be willing to give up for Von Miller, and he told me a second round pick and one of their defensive linemen. The defensive lineman he mentioned, I think, was Tyrone Crawford. I looked at him. He doesn't fit our defense at all whatsoever, so I just went with a second round pick and a fifth round pick. And then the only change in our free agent signings is I would sign Ryan Kerrigan to a 1 year, $8 million deal with $3 million guaranteed. And then for the mock draft, we still take Trey Lance, pick 9. Pick 40, still Asante Samuel. Pick 44, which we get from the Cowboys. I'm selecting another one of my draft crushes, Iowa interior defensive lineman Davian Nixon. Just sort of a developmental piece for Shelby Harris, or say if Shelby Harris or Draymond Jones get injured, Davion Nixon can slide right in immediately and play. Still got Jamin Davis at pick 71. Pick 114 did change. Instead of Elijah Griffin, he was already gone. So I went with someone else who I was very surprised was still available. And with trading Vaughn, this gives a perfect replacement edge, young replacement edge. Miami edge Quincy Roche. I was surprised he was still available in the 4th round, so I scooped him up immediately. 5th round, still Caden Stearns. Our extra 5th round pick, I actually took Khalil Herbert a bit earlier than last draft. I picked him in the 5th with our extra 5th round this time. And then for our 6th round pick, I chose North Texas wide receiver Jalen Darden. Just this dude's a speed threat. I've already talked about him. One of my draft crushes and players of the week. Elusive, extremely elusive. He's elite elusiveness. Punt returner, kick returner, specialist on special teams, and developmental wide receiver that you can use in a variety of ways. 7th round pick still went with Malcolm Kuntz, and Marshall offensive tackle Josh Ball, and BYU wide receiver Dax Milne.
Nice.
So only about 4 picks changed.
Not bad. But when I was picking, and I was like, damn, Jalen Camp would actually fit New England pretty well. And off in this draft, I went with a few hybrid players. I went with guys like Dylan Moses, with Schwartz, Hill, Wilson, with Kwamu. I definitely think that's what New England needs to do. Forever, they've been the type of team that just kind of drafts, very boring. They have to eventually change it up. And something just kind of tells me this is going to be it. So, let's hope. I want to see Jalen Camp in New England, just for the memes. So,
yeah, I never heard
week.
of him before.
I was pretty happy with those offseasons. He has not played much at Georgia Tech because Jeff Collins just didn't know how to use it. It's that simple.
And
He's
that
a
he plays
freak
at Georgia
athlete.
Tech.
Listen, man, Jeff Sims is going to be a future 6th-round quarterback. Don't disrespect.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're always disrespected.
Shut up. Then says the New England fan. Shut up.
Alrighty. Well,
Spoiled.
that was pretty good. Oh, whatever. But yeah, so interesting. I like the mock off season. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
We'll find something to do next week. We may go back to rankings next week. We started that a few weeks ago.
Yeah. We start off with top 10 wide receivers 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so maybe we'll get back into that next week. We'll see. But if y'all stayed this late, thank you again for the live viewer. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next